Welcome and welcome back, my dear tarot pals. Did you miss me? I know you did, because I got your lovely messages, comments, follow-ups, checks, what's happening, what's on. So yes, there's been a personal tragedy which led me to not want to even touch my cards for as long as today. And I've been trying to get back into the groove, but I couldn't. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for the clients who patiently waited for me to finish the process of grieving and gave me the time to even take advance later stage bookings. I appreciate it. I'm grateful to you for it. We're back, and I will not commit to one video a week, even though that's my aim. I will commit to 2 videos a month for sure. That is what I'm trying to get back as a pace on. I am on Instagram, of course, and I will share a more detailed storyline as to what happened and where was Taropal for the past 5 months. And today's reading, we are focusing on, it's funny that I have a chart ruler, which is Saturn, and I have an Aquarius rising. So Rahu and Saturn are both important planets for me as the tarot reader here. And the first video that I've been thinking about to restart the engagement with, I've been, processing if it should be the June video or should I do something around future spouse or one of those topics. And this one just called to me that we have to do a video around the transit that is happening between the planet of Saturn and the planet of Rahu. In the sign of Rahu has moved to Aquarius, its own sign. It's the sign that it traditionally rules, and Saturn has moved to Pisces. So of course, if you're new to picker cards, which surprisingly I know most people now know about, but if you're new to picker cards, there are 3 different piles here. There are 3 different crystals. I'll show you one of the artwork here for you to make your selection. You will find timestamps, of course, for each pile and each reading. And before we jump into the reading itself, I want to talk about the transit and what it means in general, so that the rest of the reading makes sense to you and you can join those dots, right? So first of all, let's talk about Rahu. Rahu is the planet, or rather it's not a planet, it's just a node of the moon. It's technically not a planet, it's a node of the moon, which governs. A lot of times you would hear that the North Node, which is the English name of Rahu, of course, is called as the destiny planet, okay? It is going to pull you towards your destiny, and it's partially true. The Western interpretation of Rahu is not completely incorrect, but to give you a more layered insight of it, Rahu is basically everything that is what we call in Vedic astrology or in Hinduism, Maya. Okay, it is all the Maya, all the desires, all the illusions that have driven our soul to a certain extent to take the birth that it has taken. It's come here to fulfill certain desires, right? Certain soul contracts. And Rahu plays an important role in balancing, if I have to find the right word here, between sometimes it's going to make you drown in your own Maya, in your own illusions, and forget that this is all temporary, and yet it is the driving force, that energy that will keep on making you move from one finished project to another. It's that desire, that pull that drives us, okay? Which is why wherever your Rahu is placed in your birth chart, wherever your North Node is placed in your birth chart, is known to be the position, the planet, the aspect that is basically driving what you are meant to be doing, or you will keep on gravitating towards throughout your lifetime, okay? Because it's that pull that is attracting most of your actions form, okay? It's one of the subconscious aspects that is driving most of your decisions, your delusions, your fears. Hence, it's connected to the moon. It's a node of the moon, which is again linked to our feelings, our emotions, right? So that's Rahu. Saturn, of course, as we know, is the taskmaster. Saturn governs karma, justice, obstacles, success, foundational success, fundamental concepts that govern your life, father figures, authority. This is all Saturn, okay? Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. The traditional ruler has always been Saturn for Aquarius. So if you can notice, Aquarius, wherever it is placed in your birth chart, whether it's your moon, sun, rising, Venus, is going to be tremendously impacted, for better or for worse, depending on what your placements are, with this 2-year transit, okay? Because both of the planets, after all, affect or govern or rule Aquarius the most, okay? Saturn has moved to Pisces, which is a sign ruled by Jupiter in Vedic astrology and by Neptune in Western astrology. Pisces is all things spiritual, creative, the otherworldly. In fact, a very closer connection to Pluto and Neptune is that Pluto is the underworld and Neptune is the outer world, the other world, okay? Dreams, fascinations, creativity, spirituality are themes that Pisces will always govern. Healing. In fact, in a very deep way, people miss this out, but Pisces is also governed with war, even though it's not directly ruled with like how Aries or Scorpio are by Mars, but every war that is being fought is fought on an ideological battle, and that ideology, that concept is Pisces. Okay, it's not the war which is the weapon, it's not the commander which is the Aries, but it is that ideology that is driving a lot of these wars, a lot of these world wars that are up right now. So Saturn has moved into this particular zodiac sign of Pisces. Of course, for each of your individual charts, look at where Saturn is natally placed, look at where Pisces is placed in your birth chart, see what aspects that draws. That's a very detailed reading for yourself that you can do. I will of course make some follow-up shots that I've thought based on your modalities. So maybe as a follow-up to this reading that we're doing today, I will put some shots, YouTube shots on how it affects the fixed signs, the cardinal signs. Watch out for those readings as well. Of course, if you've not yet hit subscribe and I've just randomly shown up in your feed, go ahead and do that. I'm pretty sporadic in my readings, so hit the bell icon, you'll get to know when the next video is out. Okay, back to Rahu and Saturn. As I said, Rahu has moved into its home sign of Aquarius. What can we expect as the collective? As a collective, this energy definitely means that we are breaking away, if for anything than anything else. Aquarius is all about authenticity. Aquarius is all about rebellion. Aquarius is revolution, technology. We cannot stop talking about AI anymore, right? And astrologers have been saying this before they even showed us the first glimpse of chat GPTs, that the age of the Aquarius will mean a lot of AI, a lot of technical upgradations, and that's what we are living, right? So that continues. The age of the internet continues, the age of AI continues. That's for the collective, it's just not going to stop. It just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Rahu will make each of us in its own way want to push towards our truth, okay, our real truth, because Aquarius is unabashed and now it has that energy of Rahu. If you do have Aquarius rising like me or Aquarius moon, it will be even all the more felt, like as if you can't wait to break apart from any belief that doesn't align with you, any relationship that doesn't align with your core system. It's unabashed, unapologetic you that comes out to the play, right? I have already talked about the tech aspect of it, so expect the tech industry to go through its own high, expect AI to keep on getting more and more intertwined with you. What to be cautious of in general when Rahu is in Aquarius? Aquarius is a fixed sign, okay, and fixed signs have this aspect of rigidity that can come across even in authenticity. So you can be authentic but stand inclusive, right? Authenticity doesn't have to mean that you have to exclude everybody and everything else out of your life, okay? I am not sure if there was an interruption because there was a phone call, but if there was, I still see the video continuing, so I think that's fine. Okay. When I'm talking about rigidity of the Rahu, it definitely talks about you can be authentic, you can speak your truth, you can own your truth, but you don't have to do it in a way that makes you feel like your truth is now superior to everybody else's truth. Does that make sense? Aquarius can have that God complex, and Rahu can aggravate that with its feeling like, oh, I am the magnetic truth and everything else around me is false. Be mindful of that ego trap, okay? You can own your truth, but let other people live their own truth, because each of us is going to feel the same emotion, right? My truth is the real truth and your truth is not true, okay? So that's the word of caution. Of course, also remember that Rahu in Aquarius can sometimes make people want to take shortcuts. Avoid it, because it's going to burn you the moment it moves towards Pisces, okay? Or the moment it even moves towards a Capricorn. Rahu goes in retrograde, so it'll go towards Capricorn later. That's Rahu in Aquarius. We'll of course unpack what it individually means for you in your chart. I have given the transit dates, of course, in the thumbnail of the video itself. I think it started from 18th of May and it's going to stay till December 2026. Rahu in the planet of Aquarius, and Saturn has already moved to Pisces as of March end, 29th of March, and stays until June 3rd, 2026. That is the transit date for Saturn and Rahu. Okay, with that general overview as to what do these transits imply. We didn't talk about Saturn in Pisces. One additional thing. Saturn in Pisces will mean that all of us will question our faith, our belief system, dive deeper into our religious belief, our spiritual beliefs, our value system, and you can expect radical changes in this, okay? Some people may choose to change their religion. Some people may become an atheist from being a god worshipper. The atheist may turn into a god worshipper. You know, all of that upheaval, questioning of authority figures who lead these religious or spiritual organizations. You can expect all of that. Some scandals coming out for any kind of a misrepresented cult or malpractices around spiritualism, and those scandals may be out in the public, okay? Those are certain common themes with Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces again makes people very headstrong around their belief system, which is why this transit is dangerous for polarization of people, okay? Everybody believes that their own truth is the only truth. We can all see what's going on in the world. Pretty much the core of every fight today is that who came first and whose god is bigger, okay? Let's move towards the tarot card and the pile picking. So first, let me give you a close-up of the crystals I've picked today. We have an opalite for pile number 1. It's a transparent blue. I love this crystal, by the way. And for your card, I have the wild orchids number 11. You may be drawn to the artwork. You could be drawn to the number, the crystal. Go with what you feel drawn to. This is a transit reading, so very likely that many of you will feel drawn possibly to more than one pile. Listen to your intuition and go with more than one pile. Another favorite crystal of mine, Tektonite. This is literally a meteor, okay? This is Tektonite, option 2, pile number 2. And we have number 35, the Decahedron for you, the sacred geometry shape of Decahedron. That's pile number 2. Pile number 3, we have the Amazonite. And your card is the infinite wisdom of the whales, number 53, and that's your card. If you need more time to make your pile selection, feel free to pause the video and then go to the timestamp section. I'm warming up to this. It's been 6 months since I've made a video. Okay, I'll see you in your respective piles. Pile number 1, my opalite pile. We're looking at Rahu in Aquarius and Saturn in Pisces. What does this transit mean for you? How does this play out at your level? Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some oracle cards here. I have a rune card. This is our key oracle card of the day, Wild Orchids. We'll see how this plays into the rest of the reading. I have some planet and house cards here. Oh, you were the pile which got 2 planet cards, in fact. And we'll first look at the overall theme for the 2-year transit, the approximately 18 months transit for you, and then pull out our tarot cards to look at what further details we get at different aspects of your life, how this plays out. So we have Ansus as your rune. Let's place this here. We have Neptune. Pisces, planet ruler, Neptune, if you heard the explanation of the transit. We have the 9th house. The 9th house is ruled by Jupiter, is a Sagittarius own house. And we have Chiron, the wounded healer. Hold on. Let's make space here. Okay. First off, it's beautiful how these three sync in together. For the next 18 months to 2 years, what can you expect as this transit plays out? The Chiron talks about the wounds that we got into this reincarnation, the wounds that we created as a child within ourselves. We all have wounds, okay? No matter how beautiful your parents were and how much they loved you, just life in general will give you wounds, okay? So you may have deep traumas, you may not have deep traumas, depending upon what life threw at you. But this next 18 months, using art, using creativity, using dreams, using any sort of an imaginative tool, visualizations, you have an opportunity to unearth. The Wild Orchids card talks about something hidden. I'm not sure if the camera is catching it. Between the Wild Orchids, there are two green hearts that are being formed. Okay, there's something hidden deep inside your heart that comes out in the 18 months tenure that we're talking about, the 18 months duration, which will be out through art, through some sort of a sci-fi, fantasy, artwork, creativity, spirituality, one mode or other. That's what you're healing and that's what you're dealing with. Your inner child wounds, how you engage with the world bases the inner child wounds. And I feel a lot of us, thanks to the internet and the awareness around these topics now, already understand why these are important and how they drives our beliefs. I've already touched upon this as a general theme, but it's not funny that it's come out very direct in your message pile number 1, in your card pile. The 9th house rules our belief system about our religion, our higher learning, our education. Some of you may be taking up some sort of a formal education as well, which aligns with your with the questions that you've been asking the universe. What I mean is, let's say you've been trying to give a practical example. It will play out differently for each of you, but to give a practical example, let's say you've been wanting to know how would you reach the dream number, the golden number figure for your income or your salary, right? And that's the question you've been asking, okay? Answers as a rune talks about receiving the answers of the questions that your mind has been asking. So the next 18 months, you're receiving the answers, and perhaps the mode of the answers coming in for you is got to do a lot with traveling, studying, higher education, connecting you to mentors or spiritual gurus who will give you those answers, okay? Be mindful though, there's a huge word of caution here for pile number 1. This Rahu transit can even get you into contact with somebody who's a fraudster, who's a scammer, who wants to take your money or change your belief system basis the spiritual woohoo that they sell you. So yes, there is an opportunity for many of you to meet a healer, to work around your inner child wounds, to find certain higher learnings or go for certain higher education, but please do your due diligence every time you're going down certain roads like this, because there is something hidden. There is a possibility of a maya, an illusion, a mirage at play that you could miss out on, okay? The general themes, if I talk about the next 18 months to 2 years for you guys: deepening of your spiritual beliefs, aiming for higher education, okay, connecting you to people who have perhaps ascended on the vision that you're at. So let's say you want to be an actor, maybe you'd meet more established actors in the next 18 months who will connect you to the right people, right? If you are a student who's looking for a certain professional upliftment, you will get connected to the right teachers and the right mentors. There's a strong mentorship, there's a strong teacher student relationship that you are manifesting with this 18 months tenure. Again, just due diligence around their credibility, who have they helped, how can they work around it, things like that, of course. Of course, whenever Neptune shows up in any reading, it's a beautiful sign for anybody who's in the field of any sort of creativity, right? So whether you're a graphic designer, you are an artist, singer, dancer, painter, these days creativity honestly is important in any profession. Thinking out of the box is important in any profession. So if yours deals with fashion, cinema, literature, those kind of things, those kind of professions will get a huge boost, okay? I cannot emphasize enough on the element of water and the element of Pisces that is repeatedly present here. You see fishes here, the Chinese New Year, the next one, which is 2026 Chinese New Year, is going to be significant for you to get some sort of an answer, some sort of an abundance, okay? February 2026 is the timeline we're talking about. Check after this reading, where does Pisces fall in your birth chart? Which house does it fall in? Because clearly that house is getting strongly activated for you. There's too many references around Pisces in this reading. There could be a significant Pisces in your life as well. You may meet someone who has strong Pisces placements as well, who is playing an important role in. I've realized in my readings, when I watch my readings again, I use the word significant too much, okay? So yeah, count, if you're watching this reading, maybe you want to play a game and count how many times did I say significant in a reading, okay? Anyhow, so that's about the general theme of Rahu in Pisces and Saturn. I'm going to move towards our tarot cards to kind of now unpack how does this flow into your relationships, your career, money, finances, your overall spiritual aspect of life. Okay, let's make space and let's get our cards out. I hope you can see all of them. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's make some space a little bit here. And here we go. Okay. Okay, a very specific message, and a complicated message, but I'll say it because it will mean something to somebody who's watching this. Some of you have been sexually abused by somebody who's respected in your own community as someone very spiritual and soulful and, you know, all of that. And maybe you never spoke about it. Maybe you did speak about it to somebody and you feel that justice didn't really happen. Again, I know it's a very specific message, but it will mean something to someone. You feel that justice didn't happen then and they still live a very respectful life. If there is somebody in your life like that who has abused you or molested you and continues to hold some respectful position or designation in the community, their truth will come out in that 18 months phase, okay? It's like karma serving, all right? Let's look at a more detailed flow down of what this transit means for my pile number 1, Rahu in Aquarius, Saturn in Pisces. What can we expect? Thank you. Okay. Should we take uprights or reversals? I feel like I'll go with uprights only, so we'll take it uprights only. Okay. Rahu and... Okay, let's first see these cards. We have the Queen of Cups. I can't emphasize enough of how important water element and water healing is for you. Visiting oceans, keeping a fountain at your home, something that has water flowing, that is going to move the chi as in the energy, the prana, in your space. So bring in more water elements in your life, okay? Creativity is super high in this pile. Some of you may even discover many hidden skill sets in you that you may surprise yourself. Oh my God, I know I was that. Chariot, again another water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Could be relevant people, relevant zodiac months in the next 18 months for you. 9 of Coins. Some of you may be starting a business which is related to either vehicles, but not like you're not opening a car dealership. You're doing something which connects you to some sort of a vehicle, like maybe you, I don't know, there's so many professions these days. Maybe you do paint job on cars, okay, something like that. We have 2 queens here, very strong feminine energy. Queen of Wands, 2 of Swords. We'll take some more cards. See, we spoke about mentorship coming your way. Join communities that have strong female leaders, okay, in whatever aspect of life that you want support in. If you're looking for emotional healing, go pick a female therapist with many years of experience, something like that. 5 of Wands. Okay, and that's our cards out. We have the High Priestess, very, very strong water signs energy, and the Emperor, interesting. Some of you feel or have a belief system that your hobbies, your passion, things that you're good at will not ever make you enough money. And the next transit will prove you wrong, and you will see how even the things that you believed are just feel-good things. They're never really going to make you any money. You have an opportunity to start making money from things that actually bring you joy. Okay, so I would actively recommend you to start thinking about how can you turn your passion or things that you love into opportunities to get you a better social status or more money and respect. Okay, that opportunity is here. The startup venture, that entrepreneurship spirit is very strong here. Okay, some of you may travel with your mother, specifically your mother or your grandmother, like a mother figure in your life in the next 18 months, and that vacation will give you a lot of spiritual downloads, a lot of insights about your own personality, your lineage, etc. There are a lot of people who are already competing with you, whether or not you're aware about it, whether or not you see your creative skills and your intuitive skills. They can see it. People who are competing with you can actually see how strong and how good you are in certain aspects, and they are threatened by it. I strongly feel with this spread, it's like you are oblivious. You don't even know what talent you have, so you don't even know who's competing against it, which is fine. You know, it's good to not know and not bother about who's comparing you to them. But that energy is present. Okay. Every time in the next 18 months you feel confused or you feel lost between this road or that road, should I go this way or that way, seek guidance from female figures who are who resonate with your value system. Okay, so let's say if you want to decide whether or not to go to a place, whether or not to date someone, whether or not to start this project, talk about this not with somebody who doesn't resonate or value your vision, but talk with somebody who has already achieved that vision or appreciates that skill set in you, and they can tell you whether road A or road B makes better sense. Yeah, if you don't have somebody like that, I will strongly recommend creating an altar for yourself and make space in that altar for your female ancestors. Okay, because there is a guidance, there is a supporting energy, there is a wisdom that you can draw from women who have been on this planet before you, or women who have the same mindset as you, the same life vision as you. They can help you in this. Okay, for some of you, you may be even purchasing a bigger vehicle. Car is what seems more likely in the modern terms in the next 18 months. That's more likely. Some of you may join a startup which leads with something professionally with cars. Okay, the Chariot and the Emperor together talk a lot about movement, travel and conquering. Some of you may acquire a new property or some sort of asset which is a long-term expansion of what you already have. Okay, what to be cautious of: don't try to do things alone. Okay, like don't think like I'm a one-man army and I don't need anybody's help and I don't need to go visit a doctor or a therapist or a counselor or a teacher, or sometimes we get into that zone of I'm just going to do it all on my own. That is going to be perhaps the worst decision that you would make. Consult the experts, take guidance from those who have done what you've done, and this is a beautiful spread for success, honestly, in whichever endeavor you want to go for. Whether it's a glow up, talking about physical beauty here, that's equally present. Okay, we have two queens here, the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands. Nourishing yourself inside out, not just the physical outer beauty, which is very strongly present. If you've been thinking of some sort of a cosmetic surgery, this is a good transit for it. But again, make sure it's not coming from a place of inner child wound, right? Because then you'll regret that you changed your appearance once this transit is over. But if it's something that you've just been toying as a friendly idea, like Let me think as an example. An eyebrow shaping, some they lose lashes. Yeah, that's another example. Those are fun changes, not really a long-term big change to your overall look. Those kind of changes, those kind of glow-ups are also probable for many of you in the next 18 months time. Okay, I think I've already emphasized enough on the element of water that you should be working with. Hydrating yourself, water meditations, visiting places which are near water bodies will get your chi flowing. Okay, we're going to look at some fortune cookies next to see what additional messages come up for you. Positive work outcomes, consistent efforts will be rewarded, and a major purchase is worth making. Kind of covered it. I love how when the last part of the reading pretty much just becomes a confirmation of the messages that we've already talked about. Okay. Manifestations, a beautiful time, a bountiful time awaits your wishes, could manifest right before your eyes. It's honestly a very receiving pile. Okay, it's a very feminine yin pile of receiving blessings, getting blessings, being in the chi and flowing, rather than all the time action, 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 and the next big thing. Okay, take your time, take time out from problems or conflicts, or approach softly to avoid making matters worse. I just spoke about the feminine aspect. We don't have to go all into a war. We don't have to become rigid of how we want the things to be. We have to allow patience, receiving. I think I've kind of summarized this next 18 months vibe for you. I hope you've liked it, and if you've reached all the way till the end of this reading, I want you to leave me a fish emoji. Getting an aquarium in your house would also be perhaps beautiful. I don't support bringing seaside animals to your house. That's kind of cruel, but maybe a nice big aquarium with river fishes and giving them company, doing something for the ocean, giving back to the community by doing some good karma for cleaning the ocean is another practical tip, practical remedy that can help you. Donating to NGOs that are supporting the cleaning of ocean, a very good karma for the next 18 months. If you've liked it, don't forget to hit that like button. If you've reached all the way till this end of this pile number 1, leave me a fish emoji in the comment section below. That tells other people that they are living the same journey as you, kind of a sense of community, a sense of togetherness. Lets me know who all picked pile number 1. And as I said, I am going to be sharing a lot more information on Instagram. So if you're not yet a part of my Instagram community, join me there. And I will be putting up some follow-up shots of this reading around your fixed signs, cardinal signs, how does it affect you, basis a little more closer and a little more customized to get you a more personal reading. With that, I leave you today, and I will see you in your next reading, unless you're joining me in pile number 2 or pile number 3. Bye-bye. Welcome and welcome back, pile number 2s, if you've picked the Tektonite. This is literally a meteoroid that fell on Earth and was mined and made into crystals. It's a beautiful crystal for third eye chakra activation, for visions. Some of you may have clairvoyance as one of the key themes. We'll see if that comes up. The dodecahedron, first let's talk about this, about the transit that we're looking at, is it's called divine thoughts. Okay, it's a sacred geometry, three-dimensional sacred geometry figure. It's called platonic solid, and one of the platonic solids, and it's linked with divine thought, the thoughts that connect us to the higher frequency, in simple terms. It's a feminine energy in sacred geometry, which basically means that it's used for receiving, for channeling, for downloading things, rather for creation, okay, for symphony, for connecting patterns. Okay, we'll see how this plays into your reading. We have beautiful Ingwas. Look at that embrace, kind of gives you a hint as to how this next 18 months is to be. We've talked about in our, I hope you didn't skip that part where I was explaining the transit in general. Aquarius in Rahu is all about authenticity, meeting your true self and owning it, loving it, believing in it. That's our card there. Okay. The house you have So many people, are you noticing the artwork here? The 7th house, and we have 2 people standing looking at each other. We have here 2 people standing looking at each other. Both of them seem to be almost in an embrace. One of them isn't in an embrace. Interesting. Connection, meeting people, meeting yourself and feeling more connected. The 7th house rules are close one-on-one relationships, business partners, roommates, best friends, your spouse, boss and employee to a certain extent, because again, one-on-one close relationships is the 7th house. And the moon, the planet that governs your feelings, your fears, your chit. Okay, Rahu, like I mentioned in my transit discussion, is a node of the moon. The north node of the moon is called Rahu. Okay, how does this play out as the general theme? How we'll split this is we'll move next towards your tarot cards and finish it with fortune cookies. But let's first talk about the general theme of the next 18 months for you. Right off the bat, because it's so evident, many of you are attracting relationships, deeper one-on-one relationships, romantic, platonic, all kinds. Okay, that is supremely evident. Some of them may resonate relationships that you've had with your mother, or how you see mother figures. Okay, like the dynamics between the 2 of you will resonate a lot with the dynamics of your mother and yourself. Okay, the moon does govern our mom, and our most native, most early years, fears and feelings can surface in the next 18 months. That's a common theme, by the way, for all 3 piles. But for you, we do see relationships as the forefront, as the focus. Okay, there is some sort of a conflicting or contradictory ideology or lifestyle that you've been living, and you have been questioning, am I this or am I that? Am I the yoga girl or am I the girl who drinks like a fish? Okay, and you're kind of integrating the 2 together in the next 18 months instead of feeling like you're either or you have to make choices between either or. Okay, some of you may actually also get, if you are looking for it, an arranged marriage through your mother. Okay, your mother is approached for somebody and they mention to your mom that this is a good match. That kind of a conversation is likely with this spread. Okay, what else? It's almost like I have that feeling of somebody looking right through you and seeing you through your facade. We've talked about how Rahu talks in authenticity, and it's either you yourself, which of course will be true for all of us, looking right through our own shadow, our own motives and desires. And for this pile specifically, you also have somebody external who's operating like a mirror to you. Okay, some of you who believe, of course, not all of us have to believe in the twin flame journey, but if you do believe in the twin flame journey, this is literally that mirroring of whatever you are throwing out to the universe, out to the other person, is almost like their emotional reaction, their emotional bandwidth is a mirror to what you're feeling or what you're doing. And it's going to be deeply intertwined with your fears, your beliefs, because again, moon, right? What is it that you're hiding? This is a wonderful transit to explore vulnerability in your relationships, intimacy in your relationships with a more deeper aspect. Okay, whether that's vulnerability mentally, wherein you share your thoughts and insecurities, whether it's sexual intimacy, just deepening of vulnerability and intimacy between 2 people is seen through the spread. I'm going to dive into my tarot section to expand into how this plays out further for you, the Rahu in Aquarius and the Saturn in Pisces. Okay, yours were like dying to fall out. I notice how the deck behaves. In pile number 1, I had to shuffle, pause, shuffle. These just flew out. Let's see. Okay, Ace of Coins. We're starting something new which is perhaps at its nascency stage, very early stage right now, but will grow into something significant and valuable. This could be even your investments, by the way. So any kind of financial investment that you've made, which is right now at a seed stage, will grow, okay? Or maybe investments made in your name of the mother would be very beneficial, okay? 8 of Coins, which is mastering our craft. Page of Coins, which is, wow, we have 3 coins now, a lot of pentacles. So this is Ace of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles, and Page of Pentacles, which talks about, Pentacles is the earthy world, okay? Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, that's the earth sign that is coming in very strong for you now. The Strength, Leo's energy. Page of Swords, we have 2 pages here. Some of you may also surround yourself with children. The pages represent children, so something to do with kids, having kids. Of course, we talked about motherhood. Some of you may become a mother in the next 2 years tenure. Some of you may also join or support a cause about orphanage or underprivileged children and give them that stability, okay? Justice, beautiful. We have 2 major arcanas now. The Lion and, sorry, the Leo and the Libra. The Tower, 3 major arcanas. The Scorpio, 2 of Swords, 2 Libra energy now. Page of Wands, that's the 3rd page, the only page missing now in your deck. Look at the number of cards, 78 cards, and there are 4 pages and you already have 3 of them. Children are important for you, okay? 3 of Wands, all right. Okay, 1 second, let's make space so that you can see. Some sort of a legal framework will fall apart. Okay, this will mean different things to different people, so take the message that resonates, of course. If you are in a marriage, okay, 7th house is marriage, okay, that is not in alignment with your value system and is perhaps rooting from a mother wound or coming out from some dysfunctional relationship, that relationship will break legally. So if you're hoping for a divorce, the divorce is happening. If you've been trying to make a dead relationship work, Justice to the Tower means that the paperwork, the ink would be signed, the divorce will happen, okay? This is for, of course, if you are not in a happy relationship or you feel like there's no alignment of the value systems. Stand strong in your belief system and that divorce will happen. If some of you are worried about the kids, because I do see the kids here, right? They're pretty fine. In fact, they thrive. They thrive after this dysfunctional relationship ends, okay? That's a message, of course, specific to somebody who's going through that phase. If that's not your story, I also want to talk about some legal aspect falling in your favor, okay? Some organization, so let's say you have a dispute running with some legal entity, you have some dispute running with some organization for many years now, or maybe you have been thinking of filing a case. You can go ahead with it because the cards will fall in your favor. That is what this is implying, okay? Similarly, if you've been hoping to get a new opportunity or a better job or change your industry and go into another job which is more in alignment with your passion, which is more in alignment with what makes you happy, go for it, pile number 2. This is a beautiful pile which talks about change in sync with what is more resonant with your life journey. That is the crux of what the cards are talking about, okay? And then finding the right support systems as you will keep making these changes, as you will take 2 steps towards what is more in alignment with you. You'd be surprised how many soul tribe, how many people who resonate with your dream will start walking towards you, okay? If you're in the business of export or import or anything that deals with foreign clients, I think nowadays most of us have those kind of aspects. Foreign clients, foreign opportunities, visa approvals, those kind of things are very likely in your next 18 months transit, okay? You want to relocate to another place? This is a thumbs up and a yes. Okay, some of you are being asked to not be afraid to start something from grassroots zero, to be a beginner in something. If you're questioning, like, I'm already 50, I don't know if this is a good time to start education again, I'm already 50, I don't know if it's a good time to start a business again. Yes, it is, because your cards are very supportive of learning. Of course, it's going to demand a lot of hard work. I'm not saying you're just going to be lucky and la la land. No, it will demand a lot of hard work. It will demand long hours from you. But if you're ready to put in that amount of hard work, and if you're ready to believe in yourself, the strength always talks about believing in yourself, conquering your own demons, not letting that overthinking, self-doubting mind hold you back. If you are ready to put in that long hours, if you're ready to go back to the books, go back to the basics, the process in itself will be successful. That's what the card is talking about, okay? So if you've been thinking about in higher education, go for it. If you've been thinking about anything to do with law, administration, legal work, paperwork, go for it. It's a good time to get those things done, okay? The Tower to the Justice, any form of injustice that has happened to you in the past gets reversed. So if you've lost a legal battle in the past, this could be the transit that brings you back your much deserved goodies, if I have to call it that, okay? I think I've already touched upon the fact that children and childlike energy is very evident in your reading. Page of Wands is all about being inspired, having new ideas. Page of Swords is again having ideas and having the ability to research on those ideas, go deeper on those ideas. You'd notice that we don't have any kings, queens or knights, which basically mean that all of these ideas that you're gathering, they're still at that stage of wherein you need to do more research, do more learning, okay? Make a plan. Don't just 18 months, okay, now let's just leave our existing job and get into full-time education. And no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying take baby steps towards every aspect that is making you feel resonant and is in alignment with you. As you walk the path, people will come out to help you. People who can see your vision will start giving you more pathways. Does that make sense? Of course, the first step is yours, always. Ace of Coins talks about you need to make tangible steps. No more thinking, no more dreaming, no more talking, no more. You have to do something about it, and then support comes your way. Okay, you have to take the tangible step to move towards it. Okay, Libras are very significant in this pile. 7th house is ruled by Libra. Justice is ruled by Libra. The Two of Swords is ruled by Libra. So we have a lot of Libra cards. The Libra season is significant. October 2025 is a significant month for you. So would be October 2026, September, October. That's the Libra season, okay? We do have the Strength and the Tower. So there is significant focus also around the energy of Leo and Scorpio, okay? So these months, again, these timelines, August 2025, November 2025, August 2026, relevant time frames for these, everything that we're talking about to start panning out in 3D. I think I already mentioned, if you're planning for a kid, you're having a child, okay? We have enough cards that confirm that there is a child for those of you who want a child. Some of you may legally adopt a child because that's also possible with this combination. We're climbing the ladder to something that we were not the first choice of. Okay, this could play out in many ways. This could be a relationship. Somebody you did not consider to be your first choice or your first option starts becoming the first option, or you start seeing them as one. Some job opportunity, some role, some selection that you were not the first choice for becomes the first choice now. Okay, that kind of a tables turn is very, very likely for you in the next 18 months. What to be cautious of? Letting your fears drive your life. That is your only caution, my pile number 2s. Okay, do not allow fear-based. What if it doesn't pan out? What if they don't like me? What if I fail? What if I come out as a villain? You know, those things that make us feel like, what if things go wrong and then we don't do certain things? That is the only word of caution. That is what you need to be mindful of, because there are many opportunities, many support systems, many chances that are lined up for you. But as I always say in every tarot reading, you are the doer. So if you don't do anything, if you don't take the lead, this is just a story. Okay, the story acts out depending on whether or not you're taking those leaps. Okay, justice, of course, to the moon, to the 7th house. I did talk about if you want to solidify a running relationship, that's also on the cards. If you want to sign, get married, get engaged, whatever is the next level of your relationship, move in together, those kind of things. Okay, yeah, let's move towards the third part, which is our fortune cookies. If you've reached all the way till this part of the reading and this sounds like your journey, what you've been thinking about, I want you guys to leave me a kiss. I don't know why for you guys, I constantly keep going back to this and it feels like the universe is ready to kiss you. Okay, so give me a kiss. Leave me a kiss emoji. That tells me that you're my pile number 2. Future. You may travel or host an overseas traveler soon. Either way, social fun awaits. 3 of Wands always talks about visas, paperwork, traveling somewhere, your ships coming in. So travel is heavy. Communication. A reunion could bring love or a rekindling of friendship. A lucky win seems likely. The Libra is an air sign, which talks about communicating, harmony, bringing people together. Change. A change of residence, partner, career or job is on the cards. I love how cookies just confirm what I've already read for you. And in need of change. You're restless and in need of change, and that is exactly what is coming your way. I'm excited for you, pile number 2s. There's not just one aspect of change. This pile is pretty much going through much strong. So pile number 1, if you're coming from pile number 1, by the way, had more creativity and inner child wounds and that kind of a spiritual healing on the way. Your reading is more 3D, more happening in the tangible form. Education change, career change, partner change, these are more tangible things, right? We can see them, we can experience them. You are living that 3D change, that 3D shift. Again, it all begins with you. It all begins with owning your fears and then saying, I will not let my fears hold me back, and taking that first step. Beautiful transit for you, pile number 2s. Let me know if any of you in this pile have very strong Aquarius or Libra placements, because that will kind of explain, if you have Aquarius and Libra placements, why this came out like this, because this is a very, astrologically speaking, this is what Aquarius and Libras would go through in the next 18 months. Not necessarily that if you don't have it, this reading is not for you. Of course, if you've picked this pile, there is a message for you here. But let me know in the comment section below if you do have strong Libra and Aquarius placements. I will see you in your next reading if this is where we part ways. Like I mentioned, I am going to share more on Instagram as to where have I been in the past 5 months. If that is something that makes you curious, join me there. We're going to restart our readings on Instagram as well. I am going to start my client readings again as well. So you'll find all the relevant information in the description box, and I will see you in your next reading. Take care. Bye-bye. Last but not the least, my pile number 3 is my Amazonite pile. Okay, we are looking at the infinite wisdom. By the way, I thought I said it at the starting of the video, but I'm not sure. Pile 3s have to watch either pile 1 or pile 2. Most of you who were drawn to pile number 3 were drawn to pile number 1 or pile number 2. Whichever card you were drawn to, go watch it, because the number sequence of this reading is a very strong connection to the number sequence of pile number 2s, okay? And the fishes and the mermaids have a very strong connection with pile number 1. So in case you were drawn to pile 1 or pile 2 apart from pile number 3, go watch that reading because it will have messages for you there, okay? We will first look at the oracle cards and the runes, then pull out some tarot cards and finish this with the fortune cookie to look at how does the transit of the next 18 months to 2 years play out for you with Rahu and Saturn. Interesting. Can you see the amount of water that is coming up again in your reading? If you're coming from pile number 1 and you've picked pile 3 as well, you'll see the similarity here. We have Ahalgas, okay? We have Mercury as the planet that is ruling as well to look at. Look at in your own birth chart. I've already covered that in your transit aspect of this video. Where is Saturn placed? Where is Pisces placed? Which house does Saturn and Pisces fall in? Look at where is Mercury placed for you as well, because that's the next key transit. 12th house is ruled by Pisces. The Saturn has moved into Pisces. Wherever is Pisces sitting in your birth chart, look at the 12th and this connection, okay? I know I gave some advanced astrology there, but some of you do understand these things, so I'm covering those topics, okay? What does the next 18 months bring for you? Okay, the first thing that I'm getting here is understanding the power of words. Communication is the central theme of the next 18 months. How do you speak? How do you write? How do you process information? How does your mind think before it feels? Pile number 2 was a lot about feelings, to 1 and 2. Yours is a lot about mental stimulation, thinking, psychology, diving deep into why do you act in a certain way under certain circumstances. How do you learn and why do you learn that way better? Okay. Mercury, wherever it shows up, always talks about trade, communication, and to a certain extent, short-term travel as well as short-term courses, okay, skill set upliftment. So if you are in, let's say, a tech field, sorry, I shook the camera. If you are in, say, a technology field, you may be going through a lot of tech skills upgrade in the next 18 months. If you have been planning to learn any kind of a language, okay, like another foreign language not native to you, this is a wonderful transit that you may want to dive deeper into it. You may get opportunities to even pick up vocational courses or a part-time job or generating a second or a third level of income. Okay, that's pretty wise here. There's a lot of confusions that you're perhaps entering this transit with, and these confusions more centric around finances. Okay, how can I grow my financial wealth? How can I be more stable? How can I, things about money worries. And those money worries answer lies. I know this will trigger a lot of you because it's not the kind of answers that anybody wants to hear. There is wisdom that you're not listening to at your own house. There are people who have ideas that they've given you how to make more money in your own house, and you've not listened to them or you've avoided their counsel. And there's a message here to not ignore what people at your home have been giving you as ideas when it comes to your financial well-being or your financial growth. Okay, mindful of technology creating havoc in the next 18 months for you. I've already covered how Rahu is very deeply linked with tech, and depending on what your own birth chart placements are, not every type of tech upgrade is good for you, right? Be mindful that in the next 18 months to 2 years, your screen time is under control because, again, tech, mental health, screen time, very interlinked. Okay, and if you don't keep a check on it, whatever concerns you're facing around focus, sleep will just get worse. Okay, so I'm not saying this to scare you, I'm saying this as a word of caution. If you know that your screen time is extremely high, if you're struggling with focus, if you're struggling with sleep, reduce it, because it's just going to keep getting worse and worse in the next 18 months. It can lead to serious medical health issues. Okay, I'm not a doctor, this is a tarot reading, but that's what the cards are talking about. Okay, you may go through some sort of a need for tech upgradation as well, like your laptop crashes, your phone crashes the same month, your car goes through, those things that happen typically in Mercury retrogrades. The next 2 years Mercury retrogrades could be a little extra troubling, or let's just say annoying to this pile. Okay, because those silly obstacles, not big shit, but like travel delays, missing out your ticket, forgetting your password, a laptop crashes at an inconvenient time, those kind of irritating things can happen. And why is the card showing you that? Because again, the intent is, if you know that it's showing up in the cards, you may want to get your car serviced. If you know that that's probable in your next 18 months transit, you may want to leave early, even if it's not a Mercury retrograde for you, for your travel or your important meetings, because you know that there's a probability of something else coming in the last minute. That is the wisdom that we're talking about here. When we know that there's a probability of something, we take precautions to manage around it, right? So that we don't get exasperated and overwhelmed when that thing happens to us. That's what this is talking about. Okay, Mercury in the 12th house also talks about you may get very interested to study deeply religious and spiritual text. Okay, so if let's say you are a Christian and you've never really read the Bible end to end, you may get interested to now finally read it. If you've read the Bible, you may actually get curious to read something which isn't contradictory to that belief system. So just deepening your knowledge about spirituality, about liberation, about spiritual concepts is very likely in the next 18 months for this pile. Okay, verbal arguments is also very likely for you. Okay, Mercury can make your speech a little sharp if it's not in check. So you would, sometimes it will happen with you that maybe you feel that you're just being sarcastic in a funny way, and you're just making the moment light, but you will end up offending people, and then it turns into a blown out of proportion argument. Okay, some of you may already have a tendency beyond this transit as well, that you fall into those the tone was wrong, or you hurt somebody with it. So just be mindful of not pissing off the wrong people because you didn't know when to shut up. Okay, I'm sorry, that sounds a little crude or direct, but if you're a part of the Taropal community, you don't come here to hear sugarcoat messages. You come here to hear the truth. So that's it. Don't say things that make you bite the bullet later. Cautious of how you speak. Rahu in Aquarius will make people speak more crudely, abruptly, directly than it is required. Okay, so diplomacy is your way to go. Okay, let's look at another thing. Archaeology. Ancient wisdom is drawing to you, which means, let's say, practical examples. Let's say you have a chronic backache and you've gone through the typical procedures and treatments. You may want to try something which was used in a holistic healing way, or in the ancient times, and you may get a relief from it. Okay, similarly, let's say you're trying to learn something and the new age methods of learning are failing on you. You may want to experiment something which is linked to an ancient way of learning or picking up or memorizing. Okay, those kind of things will come up for you. Ancient medicine, ancient wisdom. The whales are one of the most oldest species. So again, ancient medicine, and I think I did touch upon it. For you as well, water is the most important element when it comes to healing and therapy in the next 18 months. Let's look at Rahu in Pisces. Rahu in Aquarius, Saturn in Pisces for my pile number 3s. Okay, we're only taking uprights. We have the World card. We have 8 of Cups. Leaving something behind that does not serve you anymore, because you've intuitively known that there is something bigger and better out there in the world for you, and you finally walking away from that something is coming up. 4 of Swords. Yep. You've been thinking about this stepping away and going out and relocating or leaving a relationship for many years now. For some of you, as old as 4 to 8 years, and in the next 18 months you'll actually make that move. 7 of Cups. What are you scared of, pile number 3? Okay, there's this feeling with pile number 3 which I now can't shake off. You're really scared of something. So I want to know, if you want to share, what is it that is giving you so much fears, so much anxiety? You're almost in that constant fear of, I am missing out on something if I let this go. And the answer is no, you're not missing out on anything if you let this go. Some of you needed to hear that in this reading today. 7 of Cups talks about options. You will have many options line up for you. If you overthink those opportunities, you're going to miss those opportunities. So there's some sort of a fear which makes you stand still in inaction typically, and the message here is, now is not the time to stand there and still contemplate. Charge ahead, my friends. Look at that beautiful symphony with which this next card came out for you. Knight of Swords. Have those conversations. Speak your mind. Share what you need to share. Ask the right questions and charge right ahead at the opportunities that come your way. Don't stand there overthinking, deciding, to making list pros and cons. The world is your oyster. Learn new things. This is a wonderful spread for learning. Okay, this is a wonderful spread for going out and doing action. All right. Again, Knight of Swords. If you have depthful, warm conversations, you will get help. Knight of Swords. If you have direct, charging, aggressive conversations, you will get fire from the other side. So words are powerful. I'm again saying that for you, pile number 3. This 18 months, words is what is going to drive the good and the bad, both for you. Okay, in more ways than perhaps for other people. Justice. We have air signs are pretty relevant in this. I mean, I'm not surprised. Rahu has moved into one of the air signs. Legal paperwork. Again, I'm telling you, if you've picked pile number 2 and then you've come to pile number 3, okay? Or if you've picked pile number 3 and you're also going to pile number 2, I want you to be conscious of one thing. Legal battles are very different for pile 2s and pile 3s, okay? If you have only picked pile 3, in that case, I would not suggest you to sit quiet around a atrocity that you're experiencing in your life if there is a legal solution for it. Because if you keep bearing it more and more, when this transit ends, it's just going to be so bad that it's going to burst, and you'll end up paying more money and you'll end up paying more losses in some form. I don't know if I'm making sense here, but what I'm trying to say is, if you have something that has been boiling for many years now, a property dispute, a relationship dispute, and you know that there is a legal solution to it, but you're just not taking the legal road. If you sit there in contemplation, by the time the transit ends, it's just going to get more worse. Now I can say this pretty confidently because there are 3 cards that have lined up. Pile 3s, go watch pile 2. There is a connection between you and pile number 2s, okay? You will learn something new for sure, or at least you would be made to learn something even if you don't want to, which means there is a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours, a lot of physical stress that is lined up. And I don't see that in a bad sense unless you're just not taking care of your health otherwise, okay? 10 of Cups. What a beautiful message to sum this up, sum this reading. Emotional contentment will not come by standing at a place and thinking about what will make you happy. Emotional contentment will come when you listen to your intuitive thoughts, 8 of Cups, walk the tough road, take that action, stop thinking which one am I missing out on, and just pick any one of them and walk that road, okay? There is emotional contentment, family happiness, but it all comes after you have taken a definitive stance to move towards something that you are maybe not completely convinced about yet, but you're ready to take the chance. Take the chance, pile number 3, okay? Any of you who are law students, this has come up in 2 piles today for some reason, law or trade, you know? Trade and law are 2 significant professions that will get a boost in the next 18 months to 2 years. Some of you may be welcoming, some of you may be going through a graduation ceremony or some sort of a education completement for somebody in your family, like your brother or your son or your child, like they're going from school to college or college to MBA or something like that, okay? So there's some graduation ceremony that is coming up either for you or for somebody else in your life. Somebody in your life may also be pregnant. Even though the Empress card is not here, we do have this 4 of Swords to the 10 of Cups, which typically sometimes also means resting and taking care of ourselves because there's a baby coming, okay? Some of you, there's a baby coming. I don't know why in a Saturn Pisces message there have been 2 piles today that are talking about babies, but it is so. I will read the cards as it is. There is, of course, travel, which is extremely likely. The World card literally talks about travel and successful completion of projects. I would strongly recommend this pile to consider picking up any foreign language that you have interest in learning in. Maybe just start smaller with a Duolingo app or something, but you'd be surprised how quickly you picked up language up, and it can actually open doors of professional prosperity for you. Okay, learn another language. Some of you have unfinished courses or certifications that are just left half done. Finish them. Those could be some certificates that will surprise you. Oh, this helped me in this interview, or this helped me in this presentation, or something like that. Unfinished business, finish it. That's your next 18 months. Okay, those half-done projects and those half-done rooms, you may want to finish those interior decorative ideas that you've had. Those small things will you a lot of joy in the next 18 months. Okay, that's your first fortune cookie. Care required. Guard yourself against deception and be careful of making foolish mistakes this time. It's almost like the next 18 months, you will get a chance to fix something which is really big as a blunder in your life. You can get out of it. You can cut your losses and move on. But if you don't cut your losses now, you're again in for a decade more of misery. okay? I don't like to sugarcoat these things because it just is so evident. So I'm sorry if that comes out pretty blunt, but if you know what's brewing, it's time to, wow, property. A property purchase or sale for many, but heed security concerns in any transactions. Kind of self-explanatory. Justice talks about legal paperwork, okay? A lot to do with legal paperwork, signing the dots, contracts. Tough and tiring times ahead. Tough and tiring times ahead. Think long term and make decisions accordingly. Avoid negative people at all costs. I cannot sugarcoat this, so I'll say it. There is an energy vampire in your life. Pile number 3s. Wow, that almost is going out. It was burning pretty bright till now. That's pretty done. Okay. There's an energy vampire in your life. Whoever came up first in your mind is the right answer. They do not like to see you happy without. I'll tell you what the energy vampire's energy is. They hate it when you're happy and they're not around. That's that energy vampire's biggest problem. Okay. So if you have an energy vampire in your life who gets upset when you're happy, if you don't chuck off that person from your life, it's an obstacle in your life that you're constantly keeping and sustaining and letting it thrive in your life, and that holds back a lot of prosperity in your life. Okay, people don't gravitate towards people whose happiness is being eyed upon. Okay, so your underlying energy was the Queen of Swords, which talks about see through the bullshit, be brave, and cut ties with anybody who makes you feel like as if your happiness needs to be explained and justified to them. Okay, very powerful transit for boundaries. Pile number 3. Okay, I think that's pretty much about you. I want you guys to leave me a thunder emoji in the comment section below because it's a thunderous time for you in the next 2 years. Give me a thunder emoji that tells me that you've reached all the way till the end of pile number 3. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me today. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you'd like to watch more of my videos, hit that bell icon because you know me, I'm pretty sporadic with my uploads. Take care. Love you. Bye-bye.